Hello and welcome to Domain Hunter. Thank you for your interest. I'll be walking through a Domain Hunter tutorial geared towards the workers and the quality control managers that will be managing this project. So the first thing to keep in mind is that Domain Hunter is designed for the Firefox platform, the Firefox browser. And the reason for that is that Firefox has a tool called GreaseMonkey, and we have a custom GreaseMonkey script that is installed on this browser called DataScraper. So the first thing to do is make sure you have Firefox. You can update to the latest version, and then you install the Domain Hunter user script. Once that's installed successfully, it'll show up there in the GreaseMonkey scripts. So we also have a guidelines document which goes into detail about what is expected in terms of collecting the domain from a company record input. You can read these guidelines when you have some time. Please do so before you start work. A project will have been assigned to you, and when you click on the Work tab, you will be presented with a company name, a street, a city, a state, a zip code, and a country. There's a manual entry button, and then there are 4 search buttons down here. Typically, we start with the Google name and city, or the Google full name, and we'll talk about both of those as we go through this. So let's search for the first record. Now we see here in the company name, you have a floating palette here, and I'm looking for a record in Hungary, the country Hungary, that has digital, and then I can't even pronounce the rest of this, but Sanitas Technicae, and we're looking for a record that matches that. And I see over here, digital.co.hu has almost exactly the same information on the little snippet from Google. So this looks like a very promising domain to click on. So let's go ahead and click on it. And now we see that we have our Domain Hunter palette over here, which is where all the information takes place. This looks like a direct hit. The exact company name matches my input company name, and I see that even the street address is fully represented, the number, and so on. And I don't see the city, Szeged, nor do I see the zip code readily. But I know that I see enough of a match here that this website is pretty certain, in my opinion, to be a match with the input record. So we click on all that apply, and then we will submit the record. I just want to make sure that all of the information, that I'm not missing any details here. I do see 6723 as part of the street address, so I will select that. And yes, Szeged is also indicated. Different countries have a different way of printing their postal address, and I guess this is the way Hungary does it. So once we have all of that data collected, we simply click the submit URL, the submit address URL, and we go straight to the next record. So that one has already been, that's a successful hit, and we've processed that. The next company is Terabyte 2003 SL. Let's look it up in Google again. And I get a good clue here that Google itself has Calle Pedregales, and there it is, Calle Pedregales. So things are looking good so far, and here we have it again. So let's click on that domain. Load it up, Terabyte 2003, the domain even sounds like the company. And Contatto is the contact page that we're looking for. So we'll click on that. We go down to the bottom here, and we see that Terabyte matches exactly. Calle Pedregales matches, Logrono matches. And here's the case, I'm not 100% certain, but LO probably stands for Logrono, and I'm going to click that because it is likely the province for the city. We also have a postal code, which is also an exact match, and ES is the country code for Spain. And while I don't see Spain printed on this page, I know that we're in the right site, and this is most definitely Spain. It's got the right city, it's got to be the right country. So I click the country code, and this is a case where you can, if you're certain that you're in the right country for the address, you can go ahead and click the correct country code, even if it's not printed. But I do want to see the right postal code on the page, the city, the street, and the company name indicated. So here's another successful match. We submit the address URL and move on to the next one. So let's go ahead and click on Google Name and City. That seems to be working well for us. Let's try that first one. And I see a contact page in German. So let's click on that. And let's see if we have anything matching here. It does look like, even though the order is different, Deutsche Klassenlotterie Berlin, Deutsche Klassenlotterie Berlin, there's enough of a match in the company name for me to go ahead and click this. Brandenburgische Street 36, and that's an exact match. Berlin is in there, that's an exact match. And the postal code is also matched, and .de, well, I see that right here in the country code of the domain. So I'm going to go ahead and click that as well. And this is also, I recognize the German. So that's another successful submission. Albatha Real Estate LLC. Let's take a look here. Now, when I see something like, I look at the website that Google's giving me back, the webcamnetwork.com. There's something about that doesn't seem like it would be the right one for Albatha Real Estate. So I'm going to continue down this list, and now I see Albatha Real Estate, albatha.com. That looks promising. Let's go ahead and get to the contact page. Let's see what we have here. So Albatha is indicated. Now here we have a P.O. box, which is not a match with our street address. But we do have a match on the Sharjah state and province. And the AE is the country code for the United Arab Emirates. So I'm going to go ahead and click that as well. And here we have a partial match. It's not a perfect match, but I suspect that we are on the correct website for this company. So we're going to go ahead and submit and move to the next one. Gorham McGahey AIA LLC. Let's try that. Now here Google has, yeah, that's looking very promising. So now we just have to find the right website. Google doesn't list the website here, but we can see if we can't find this. Now, HubWoo does not sound like the correct place. That looks like a directory. Gore McGahey AIA, GMA Architect. GoreMcGahey.com looks even more promising. So let's click on that one. It redirects to GMA Architect. So gmaarchitect.com. Let's validate that this is the correct location. Gore McGahey, that's promising. Okay, this is a Flash site. Let's go ahead and click on the contact page. And here we have 43 Barclay Circle, Suite 202. Yep, that's an exact match. And we have Fort Myers. This is spelled out F-O-R-T, and here we have F-T, which is the abbreviation for Fort. Florida is an exact match, 33907. That's an exact match, and Florida is a state in the U.S. That's also a match. So here we have another perfect match, and we click Submit. Now we get to OKG-EHF, and that's in Iceland. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Now when I see something like news, icex.is, it just looks like a potentially a news site or a directory. Also, it doesn't really have OKG in the domain name, so I'm going to continue looking through a little bit closer. Hoover's is a directory. We don't want directories. That's very important. So I'm not seeing on the front page, I'm not seeing on the first page of the output something promising. However, OpenCarefy Group looks like the actual name for the company. So I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to replace that here with this search just to see what comes up. And I get something that looks more promising, OpenCarefy HF. Let's click on that and see what we get. See, the company name is OpenCarefy, and we don't have that. We have OKG EHF, which is different. That's not the same. I'm looking for some kind of contact page, and I can't read. Here we go. This is a OpenCarefy, OKG. I'm thinking that this is the correct site, even though we don't have too much in common other than the city, the country, and we have the name of the company has actually looks like it's spelled out. So I'm going to submit this domain, leaving out just connecting Reykjavik and Iceland, and this is something that will be scored. You know, it's a successful submission, but it indicates to us that we're not certain about several of the details, so it's worthy of a follow-up. But that's good enough. And also, timing is important. We have to keep the flow going here. So we have Van Melle Dirk Jenny. It's another company name. Van Melle Dirk Jenny. That's kind of interesting. And that's in Belgium. Okay, let's see here. What's this? There's a reference to this. Here's a Belgian website. Now it's interesting that this is in the exact same street location. Okay, so we can check that, and we also have the full name indicated here graphically. So we're going to check that as well, and the zip code is the same, and we know it's in Belgium. That gives us a good indication. And Brugge, I assume, means Brussels, and that's probably the Belgian way of saying Brussels, the capital of Belgium. It does help to know your geography for this project. So here we have a name, publigids.be, and a pretty strong reference to this company here. It looks like it was an acquisition to me, but I'm going to go ahead and click that and submit it. Finance Department, Sharjah Government. Let's see what we have here. Sharjah Finance Department. Okay. This looks like it's somewhat promising. SFD.AE, United Arab Emirates. We're in the right country, at least. Okay, and we have it in Arabic, which I do not read. And I'm waiting for something to give me a clue here. Now here's a case where Government of Sharjah Finance Department. I mean, right there, we have all the indications that this is the correct website. Unfortunately, I don't read Arabic, and therefore I cannot find or validate any of the address information. So this is a case where I want to use another tool. We'll go to Chrome, which has a built-in translator. See what Chrome does in terms of translating this document. Yes, translate. Contact us. Okay, so we have Sharjah, PO Box 201, United Arab Emirates. That's all we have. Let's go back to Firefox. If that's all we have, that's all we have. Wait, did we see PO Box there? Yes, we did. PO Box 201. Perfect. So we have an exact match on the entire record. That's great. Okay. That's another success using a separate tool here. Okay, IMCEN in Washington, D.C. Let's take a look here. A lot of directories coming up on top. Yellow Pages, LinkedIn's a directory, LinkedIn. And we have an Akron Information Management Support Center. Information Management Support Center, Nortel. Looks like some kind of military establishment. This is a tough one. This is the Army's Information Management Support Center. Let's see what happens if I Google for that, for what IMCN actually stands for. Okay, that was one of the pages. That looks promising. So I click on that, and I have a Contact Us page. Let's see what we have here. Alright, well, the acronym and the company name are not exactly the same thing, are they? So I'm going to leave that blank, and we don't have the right room number, but we do have the right city, state, zip code, and we know it's in the US. I would like to get the company name on here if it is available, so I'm going to do a find on this page and see if we have anything, but we don't. About us. And I suspect that this record is actually linked to the Pentagon. That zip code may be the Pentagon zip code. Well, this page is taking an unusually long time to load. And that's not good. That slows things down. Well, I can't wait forever for this. So I'm going to collect the data that we found, and I'm going to say that submit address URL. We found the address. The company name is different. It's not the exact acronym, so I'm going to let that one go as is. Okay, let's take a look at this. It's interesting. Receiving officer Naval X. That doesn't. Let me get rid of receiving officer. Actually, Naval X sounds unique enough to try on its own. And it's not even in the right state. This is an interesting one. NavalX.com is something that I want this to be the correct one, but I'm not seeing I'm not having a lot of confidence about it. Let's see if they have any locations in South Carolina. No, I mean, it looks like they're located right here in Miami. And none of this stuff is checking out, except for the fact that it's in the US. But I'm going to submit this as the right URL because the other ones, there was nothing else in second place that looked even close. But that had a lot of doubts, and the fact that only one checkbox is selected indicates that there's quite a lot of doubt about that specific record. Okay, so we just ran through 10 records, and it is possible to look at the records that we've collected for quality control. We can go to the actual website where we collected data, and we can check all the data that we've collected. We really want to focus on accuracy, and before I close this tutorial, let me just point out this one very important rule. For this project, for Domain Hunter, it's much more important to skip a record than to enter incorrect data about a record. Never click a company name unless you found it, or the street address unless you found it, or something very close to it on the actual website. I'm hopeful that by working with your managers and in turn working with the team here at Profound Networks, that this has been an instructive tutorial for you. We look forward to a high quality and good coverage work effort, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening.